this video, we look at the ideas of a British scholar of the 19th century. Just because these ideas are older does not mean they are without worth. Much of what Harris had to say would resonate today with champions of liberalism. George Harris was an English barrister and judge, born in 1809 and died in 1890. He was an active member of the Anthropological Society of London and helped found the Psychological Society. He was interested in the origins and nature of humanity and described as a polymath and self-taught scholar who collected and studied antiquities. In 1861, he wrote a book titled Civilization Considered as a Science. This is one of the first modern, systematic attempts to understand what civilization is, and for this reason is worth re-examining. Let us take a look at what his ideas on this subject were at the time. George Harris views a civilization as built on an educated populace in an environment where individuals are exposed to a wide variety of ideas and use reason to determine the truth. He emphasizes the importance of morality. Communication and transportation between people, both within and between countries, he thought leads to a type of global village. Wealth should be generated through trade, but not pursued for its own sake. Liberty is a primary theme that runs throughout all of Harris's work. He believes in a constitutional democracy in which government protects individual rights and there is rule of law. He advocates for freedom of the press and freedom to make decisions independent of government oversight. Ability and talent are stressed with the view that society should be a meritocracy and not an aristocracy, in which rewards are based on talent and not on who you know. Harris thought that general knowledge and the need to pursue practical careers in the sciences and arts were both important. Beyond this, he advocated the promotion of knowledge and art through museums, academies, art galleries, and libraries. The free exchange of knowledge through the written word in newspapers and books was important to Harris. In our case, this would be the internet. He thought that the truth would be triumphant in the end, but that we should tolerate diverse points of view in order to get at it. Harris believed that each person should strive to be the best they can be. Society and civil service ought to be based on a meritocracy, not wealth or influence. A noble character to him is one who strives to help society rather than himself. He states that professional, i.e. businessmen, seek to benefit individuals only, while intellectuals benefit all of humankind. Two qualities in particular are important in the development of character. These are the cultivation of the intellectual and moral faculties that would allow us to control our more animal natures. And by this he means reason and morality. Reason enables us to see the truth, and the cultivation of moral characteristics enables us to overcome vice, ignorance, and corruption. The result, according to him, would be a reduction in crime. Harris liked cities where people can learn and interact with one another. Similarly, exchange between nations that are facilitated through global communications and transport. To apply this to the modern case, it would mean basically the internet. So he advocates mutual intercourse between members within and as well as between nations. The world in his own words, ought to be one great family. Inequality is obviously a bad situation. Poverty, according to Harris, creates barbarism. Wealth should be used for attaining noble objects, not for the pursuit of luxury. In fact, this could be the beginning of the end for a civilization. If everybody is decadent and only cares about buying things, i.e. consumerism, or of having a good time, i.e. hedonism, then they will fail to follow higher level values. Harris suggests that money is a means to a proper end rather than an end unto itself. Harris also advocates what we would now call global free trade to produce mutual economic benefits. War is the opposite of free trade. Instead of manufacturing goods to benefit others, it is put to the purpose of death and destruction. Instead of fostering mutual benefit, it fosters animosity and hatred. He says it's the worst obstacle to the creation of a civilization. In terms of government, it needs to be representative of the people and accountable to them. In other words, a democracy. Harris believed that the state should not force or compel the progress of civilization, but supply the means for encouraging its promotion. In this regard, Harris seems to be advocating a more libertarian and less socialist view of government. Harris believes in rule of law and says that there are three purposes for law. These are the maintenance of order, the protection of property, and the protection of liberty. Punishment serves as an example to others not to commit crimes and ought to also effect moral reformation. So crime, in his opinion, is also one of the greatest enemies to civilization. Harris advocates freedom of the press, free thought, free speech, and other civil liberties. He defends a constitutionally based government whose purpose is to ensure the greatest amount of freedom. Individuals cannot be told what to do by the state, in his view, but must instead figure it out for themselves. This is the basis of liberty. Tyranny, on the other hand, is the exercise of the strong over the weak, so that people must obey and are unable to act of their own accord. When people are ignorant and superstitious, they can more easily be swayed by a tyrant. In other words, they don't know how to act on their own and are thus more open to instruction from authority. There is a tremendous amount of overlap between the modern progressive view of civilization and that proposed by Harris. In many ways, he was ahead of his time in seeing the importance of a democratic, liberal world order.